Hi, my name is Kaylin Ruddick, and I'm a postgrad intern in the Office of Experiential Learning and Career Development. And today I'm here to give you a brief presentation on tips, things to think about, and best practices when you're working from home. So first of all, very important is your workspace. So you should try, if you can, to pick a designated work area and keep the rest of your space separate from where it is that you go to work for the day. You can explore various spaces to see what works best for you, and it may be that different spaces work better for different tasks, but you can take the time to figure that out. You should make sure that your space is comfortable, well lit, and has everything you need, whether that be internet access, a printer, office supplies, etc. If you're sharing a space, especially if you're sharing it with other people who are working from home, whether it's parents, siblings, roommates, etc., you should try to set a schedule and communicate expectations. So especially if you're multiple people sharing a home office, or if you want to communicate when you need to be left alone to do your work, whether or not you can be interrupted, these are all things that you want to discuss with the people sharing your space ahead of time so that there's no miscommunications and everyone is able to get the work done that they need to. Communication and visibility is super important when you're working from home. So as you can see, I've written here, communication is key. You should not be afraid to ask questions and ask for clarification when needed, because you won't be able to just walk down the hall, knock on someone's door, and ask them in person. You want to make sure that you're communicating frequently, whether it be through virtual meetings or through email. You should tell your supervisor and teammates what you're working on. That way they know how your work fits into their projects. They can make plans and goals based on your work. You can share your work and ask for feedback because that'll improve the quality of your own work as well. Along the same lines, you should provide frequent updates on progress and accomplishments. Again, this helps members of your team who may be working on projects that intertwine with yours. So it's good for everyone to know how the work is standing and where you're at on a project. Practice good etiquette in virtual meetings and emails. This is super important. You won't have the chance to show your professionalism in person, so you need to make sure that you're doing that through the virtual meetings and emails that you're conducting. Meetings should be done in good lighting with a clean and tidy background. Fairly neutral is a good idea. You should be dressed for work. And emails, you want to make sure that you're sending a polite address to the person you're emailing, a descriptive body paragraph that mentions what you want to communicate to them, and then a respectful closing. So just practice that good professional communication. And you should try to be very responsive, again within reason, but this just means responding to emails in a timely fashion and being an active member of your team. Organization and accountability. So these really go hand in hand with communication, but you should try to plan your day. So this may be by creating to-do lists. So you can create lists for daily, weekly, and monthly goals and projects. You should take regular breaks and avoid distractions. So that helps you kind of organize your own work time and be focused in order to do the best work that you can. You should track your tasks and projects. So this is important in both keeping yourself on task as well as allowing for documentation for others working with you to know what you're working on and the progress that you've made. Keep good notes. So take notes during meetings. Again, you don't have the same ability to knock on someone's door and ask them for clarification from a meeting. So you want to make sure that you do have that information available to you and take notes for your own projects as well. You should update your supervisor and teammates on your goals of progress. So again, that goes along with good communication, staying in touch, and keeping yourself accountable for the tasks that you say you're going to do. And as you can see there, communication and accountability do go hand in hand. A few tips for productivity while you're working from home. It's a good idea to have a regular morning routine. So this helps you transition from sleep time to work time without making it too abrupt. So whether your morning routine is just breakfast, going for a walk, taking a shower and getting dressed, you should try to figure out what works best for you to kind of wake up and transition into work time and then stick to it throughout your time working from home. You should make sure that you're getting dressed for work. So don't just work in your PJs from home. You should make sure that you are dressing because that does have a psychological effect on the work that you're going to do. Plan your workday around your most productive hours. So if you know that you work better in the afternoon, then maybe that's when you sit down and tackle your bigger projects and tasks, and your morning is more for catching up on email communications and more basic tasks like that. You can try using a timer or blocking out your calendar to focus on tasks. So this could be if you know that a certain project should take you about 2 hours to finish, maybe you set a timer for those 2 hours and just work through to get it done. But you can use trial and error to figure out what works best for you. And finally, consider using music, white noise, a TV on low in the background, or noise canceling headphones. So again, you kind of have the freedom to play around and figure out what works best for you. If you're someone who thrives on the office buzz, then maybe you'll need the TV on in the background or music. But if you're someone who works best in silence, then noise canceling headphones might be the way to go for you. Work-life balance is super important when you're working from home. So you should try to set regular working hours and stick to those. Since you won't have coworkers leaving at 5 to signal the end of the workday, you need to try to do that yourself and signal your own self when it's time to stop working. And you want to make sure that you don't start working as soon as you wake up, especially if you're an early riser. If you're getting up at 6 or 7 in the morning and working straight through till 5 p.m., that's not a very good work-life balance. You're working a bit too much there. So you should try to have that separation of time. Try to leave your designated workspace at the end of the day. This may be more difficult if you're working from a desk in your bedroom, but do try to keep your spaces separate, either physically or psychologically, even if it's just turning off your work-related technologies, closing your work laptop, turning off your work email at the end of the day. Try to have some kind of leaving action or separation. Do take a regular lunch break. It can be super tempting to just go grab your lunch and sit back down at your computer, but try to have that break so that you can come back more refreshed for the second part of your day. And this will be a conversation to have with your boss, but in general, try not to respond to non-urgent emails after working hours. Keep your off time for yourself. That's it for working from home, but be sure to check out our other videos, including how to create a professional resume, cover letter, a LinkedIn profile, writing an academic CV, and interview skills.